All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Glow Collective. I'm your host, Dr.V, and today we have Hunter Martin on. He is a licensed attorney, practice manager, sales rep, and founder of Encompass Aesthetic Consultants. He knows the aesthetic industry inside and out and has used his experience to help numerous practices achieve better profitability and better patient outcomes. As you listen to today's episode, you'll quickly be able to see that Hunter has a true passion for helping physicians and nurses, and I'm so excited to have him on to share his unique viewpoint and experience. So get ready to unleash your glow. All right, guys, and welcome back to the next episode of the Glow Collective. I'm your host, Dr. V, and today we have Hunter Martin on. He is an attorney, he is a skincare rep, a consultant, and also a practice manager for a plastic surgeon's office. Welcome to the show, Hunter.
Well, thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
All right, so this show is going to be amazing, and to start off, why don't you introduce yourself to our Glow Getters?
Okay, yeah. So I'm Hunter Martin. I'm a licensed attorney, licensed in the state of Ohio. I also work for Illumier MD Skincare as the representative for Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky. And I also run a consulting firm where we help aesthetic practices grow and become more profitable and just better overall.
So you do a lot of different things.
Yes, I do, but I feel like that is more of a common theme in the age and times that we're in. It used to be that you worked one career for 30 years and you started out with a company and you stayed there for your whole life and retired. And I feel like now we keep seeing more and more people have multiple jobs. They do side hustles. They jump careers every several years now. And I feel like I'm kind of representative of that.
So when you started and you graduated, did you know this is what you would be doing?
Oh, absolutely not. So when I graduated law school, I passed the bar. I was applying to work at big firms. My career trajectory, for sure, I thought I was going to be an attorney. I was probably going to do medical malpractice, work at a firm and work my way up the food chain there. But as it turns out, so my background, my father, Dr. Curtis Martin, is a plastic surgeon. He has a private practice. He's been practicing for over 27 years now. But right at that time, when I got out of law school and right when I passed the bar, he was moving into a new building. He had a bunch of stuff going on with his practice, and stuff just went really, really wrong. It was a horrible situation with the building. It didn't get done on time. There were huge budgetary problems with the contractor. And at the same time, we had some serious things with our staff go wrong, none of which was Dr. Martin's fault. But it left the practice in a really, really bad situation where we were at risk of losing the building, where we had almost no staff to operate. And it was a very, very dark, very bad time. So out of necessity, I kind of had to step up and start working at the practice, literally just starting at the front desk, answering phone calls, helping with patient stuff. And then I kept doing that and kept expanding what I was doing. And ultimately, I ended up staying in that role for about a year and a half. We hired an entirely new staff. We have the absolute best staff in the world now. As you know, you've come to our practice many times and are friends with some of the girls in the staff. But we're so blessed now. We have the best staff. The business is just really in a great place now. Thank God we've turned everything around, and we finally have a practice that I think that Dr. Martin is the practice he deserves, and one that he's really, really proud of.
Well, good. I mean, you guys should be proud. Your practice is amazing. It's beautiful. All the girls are amazing, and just, yeah, it's a place to be. So tell us a little bit about how it is bringing your legal background into practice management. How has that helped you?
Oh, it's been the biggest blessing ever. I think the law degree, it paid for itself in like the first 3 weeks that I worked. It really gives you a perspective on things that I think you can't have if you don't practice. I think the other great thing about law school too is, aside from legal compliance, things like that, I think it really sets you up well and trains you to do business and to negotiate and to do deals. And I think a lot of people don't understand with an aesthetic practice the sheer amount of money, the sheer amount of overhead that these businesses incur. You need someone that has a background, in business, whether as an MBA or an attorney. I mean, these are multi-million-dollar businesses, and you need someone that has that kind of experience, I think, to be at the helm of that, because otherwise doctors are so busy. They're already spending 50 hours a week just on patient care. They love their patients, and they just don't have the energy or the time to be,
or the skills,
or maybe even the skill set. Doctors are brilliant, but it's just they don't have that background either to really be in charge of that business aspect of the practice. And you see time and time again when they don't have someone in the manager position that has a strong background, the practice suffers.
Yeah, no, and I agree. And I think when you start a practice, you don't understand, when you're small, especially a solo practitioner, most of the companies out there, they want to take advantage in some way, shape, or form, and you really have to be your best advocate. And so that was something where I learned from you how to really negotiate better, and that leads us into kind of the consulting that you do, right? So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I guess background, I got into consulting after I had, worked at my dad's practice. And, it was such an incredible learning experience. I mean, there's no greater teacher than being thrown in the fire with your back against the wall where, you're one mistake away from losing the practice. There's no greater teacher than that. And while I would never want to relive that time of my life ever, you can't learn those lessons anywhere else. And I'm really thankful for those lessons. And
what were some of those lessons? Can you share with us?
Oh my God, just due diligence on paperwork, looking at your contracts, keeping a close eye on everything, not trusting your sales reps.
Yeah.
Then there's some wonderful reps out there, but you need, it's so important to remember that in this business, there are doctors being taken advantage of every single day.
And we don't know what to look for, and we're not very great at reading all the details. It's always sign here and move on. But this is where it's so important so that you can save and also protect yourself, right?
Absolutely. And, most doctors that we know probably at one point or another have got on a big purchase like a machine or a laser, something like that. It's just so challenging. Doctors have such a target on their back because people know that these are big businesses, that they need equipment, they need supplies, and someone is always there ready to take advantage of you. And if you don't always have your head on a swivel and be doing your due diligence, it's going to happen to you. And that's the unfortunate truth.
Yeah, no, that's true. So what give us some tips for if, some of our glow getters listening, they either have their own practice or they want to get into aesthetics or start their own med spa. What are some tips that you can give our glow getters listening just to do that due diligence?
Yeah, well, I think that this is the void in this industry that we're trying to fill with Encompass Consulting is, I've had the great opportunity to meet so many wonderful people through my time as a sales rep. And one of my favorite things was always, this was outside of my job description, but I always consulted with them. I always helped them with their business, with compliance, with things like that. And that was the part of the job that I really, really loved. And, I've been so blessed now, we've worked with 7 or 8 practices that we've really made huge difference for them in terms of their patient flow, their profitability, all of those things. So, I guess this is plugging yourself, but I truly believe and can say honestly, if you're going to start your own business, talk to someone that has done it before and talk to someone that you trust and has your interest in heart. Don't trust the reps. Talk to another doctor, talk to someone that you're close with, and heed their advice. And if you don't have someone that you're close with in your life and you still want to do this, this is where I think that our services are something that are going to be really special, because we have not only providing legal background, business coaching, negotiating, all of those things. With the consulting firm, we're also providing hands-on training. You're going to become a better provider. We're helping with medical oversight, with every aspect of the practice that you can imagine. We want to have an answer for you, and if we don't have the answer, we're going to find someone that does. And we seek with this business to do it as a service. Yes, we have to make money. It is a business, but our goal is to be affordable and to never have sticker shock, to never look at what we offer and you say, oh my God, that's the worst thing ever, to have sticker shock, when it sends the chills down your spine. It puts you in a fear mind state. Yeah. So our goal is to never have that. We want to offer affordable services for everyone.
And give value. And I think that's part of what, so let's talk a little bit exactly about what Encompass Aesthetics is, right? So it's a consulting company that's starting, right, with you, me, and we have Jen. She's an awesome injector, and just trying to bring all these skill sets and just expertise to other practices and people that really want to improve their med spa or start one and really do it right. And there's all this information out there, and it's overwhelming. When I started my practice, I didn't know what I was doing, and I wish there was a resource that someone could come step in and say, yeah, basically get this from this company, do this, do this, do this, and you're good. But that's not either affordable or it's not readily available, right?
Yeah, and that's what we try to do. And the whole consulting firm, I guess we jumped the gun a little bit. I'll give some background on how we started. And it all started with, I was working for Sunniva Medical at that time, selling products like Belafil and Instalift. And I was spending a lot of time with the practices, coaching them and helping them, because I just loved it. It was something that I really was passionate about. I had the opportunity to work with you on your practice, and you were one of the first people that I ever worked with and did a full consult for. And so thank you for that opportunity to do that. And then I worked with Jen Blesser at Skin Esteem. She's an incredibly talented injector, one of the best injectors I've ever seen in my entire life. She has a heart for teaching, and she runs Skin Esteem in Newport, Kentucky. But I was her rep for Instalift and for Belafil. And I was just, one day I was like, hey, Jen, do you want to sit down and let's look at some things that we can do to really make your business take off? And we had a couple meetings and changed a little bit here and there, and it was really successful. And after that, Jen came to me and she was like, Hunter, she was like, we need to be doing this. Let's start a consulting firm. Yeah. I was like, let's do it. So we had dinner and hashed it all out, and first person we called was you. Yeah. We want a medical director, medical professional doctor on board. And so we came together and said, let's offer advice for every single aspect of a practice. Everything from legal compliance to business management to hiring and firing to negotiating deals to getting better prices, what to look out for, not getting taken advantage of, and then even beyond that, clinical training and medical expertise. So that's the goal of what we want to do. We want to have this lifeline for everything that you need, and we want to do it in a way that's genuine and that's affordable and does not have sticker shock. Agreed. Yeah, I'm excited for it. So tell me, how did you get into skincare sales? Yeah, so I never thought I would do skincare sales. I never thought I would be a rep at all. I remember when I was offered the job with Sunniva to do Belafil and Instalift, and I was like, I'm a lawyer. I don't know if I can be a sales rep. That sounds like such a stressful thing to go out and do and sell things. I'm not a salesman. I don't like that at all. And I was completely wrong. I love being a salesman because so little of it is actually sales.
Yeah.
So much of it is just getting to meet people and getting to help and just getting to build these incredible relationships. And I don't consider myself a salesman at all. I think it's really funny when someone says you do sales. I'm like, oh, I guess I do, don't I? Huh?
Yeah. And I think that was something that, there are a lot of reps we meet, and it is true, like most of the time they're just trying to get their product in your hands, right? And I felt like you were actually genuinely wanting to help, like truly like help the practice. And it does catch you off guard when someone really has that passion to help. And I think that's what we need. We need more people like you out like in the industry and getting you to meet other people. And I think this is awesome with what you're doing with skincare, but then also partnering and doing it through consulting. It's really going to help so many practices.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that means a lot. But yeah, so I guess that leads me to skincare. I worked for Suniva for a year and a half. Absolutely love them. I love every person in that company. Our CEO, Pat, they're just the most wonderful group of people ever. And, I highly recommend to anybody to carry Suniva products, to try Belafil and to try Instalift. I think it's one of the most important things that you can do for your patient outcomes in your practice. But yeah, I guess it just came down to the skincare realm. The woman who's my boss now, Jody Nightingale, she is incredible. You've met her over the phone, and we're trying to get you guys set up for a meeting in person, or maybe get her on the show. But she is like one of the most amazing people you will ever meet in your entire life. And I've wanted to work with her for a very long time. And the president of our company, Don, he's like James Bond, but he somehow works in skincare. Like, I don't know how to describe it. He's like the coolest person ever. Like, he has done it all. He's like from South Africa and is like been on the river with crocodiles and like raced cars and just
so like, he's the James Bond of skincare.
He is the James Bond of skincare.
All right, that says a lot. That says a lot.
Yeah. So these two amazing people. There was an opportunity. There was timing. And Jody called me and was like, "Hey, there's a job opening at this company called Illumier. Like, do you want to come on board? Do you want to look at it?" And first thing I did was I called you and I said, "Is this a good company? Is Illumier good skincare?" And you said, "Oh my God, yes!"
I said, "Yes, I've been thinking of Illumier for like a year now."
Yeah. I ended up leaving Suniva and joining Illumier, and it just really at the end of the day was about getting to work with these really incredible people, and knowing that we have an incredible product, an incredible brand, and Illumier is all about bringing value to practices.
Yes.
Bringing value. And that was what I love, that they allow me to do what I do with consulting and helping the practices, and let me do the part of the job that I really love. And, they've encouraged me to go for it, to help these practices and to live, I guess, my truth, which is, being of service in everything that you do. So that's how I ended up in skincare. And never in a million years thought I would be doing it, but it has been incredible and such a learning experience. And I've really loved it so far.
Yeah, and I think skincare, getting into the skincare industry can be challenging because there's so many different brands out there. But I think why we switched to Illumier is I think just how they support small businesses and practices and physicians, and just they really try to take care of the practice. And you can't find these products online, and they're clean, they're medical grade, they're effective, and they work.
Yeah, it's everything that skincare should be from top to bottom. And I guess, maybe a lot of the listeners don't understand kind of the logistics of selling skincare as a physician. Skincare is so important, especially you're a dermatologist. That's such a huge part of your patient outcomes.
Yeah, I love skincare, swear by it. But there's all these over-the-counter brands, right? And it's confusing. Most of the patients that come see us are already doing whatever brands, Rodan & Fields, or getting things over the counter on Amazon, and half of the stuff is junk and doesn't work. Yeah,
and even the stuff that does work, the other major problem, When you have to sell the skincare to the patient, and a lot of these big brands, the patients just buy them online. So you spend all this time on the consult with them, using your expertise as a dermatologist to get them a great skincare regimen, provide them support. It takes your time, and then they just buy it on the internet, and
some of it's not even the right quality.
Yeah, and it's not. It's expired. It's old, or it's not legit. And I think where Illumier is really special is that doesn't exist. Illumier is only available through physicians' offices. And I think especially as a patient, I think it's really a great feeling too to know when you purchase Illumier that you are supporting your doctor that you love, and that the cycle continues. You're giving back to them. And we also have another incredible part of Illumier is the foundation.
Tell us more about that.
So Illumier has 2 major projects that we're doing in Africa. The first one, which is nearest and dearest to my heart, is drilling water wells, providing clean water for people that don't have access to it. I think that's the most important thing in the world. Could you imagine? We just take it so for granted, turning on the tap. But to have to walk like 4 or 5 miles a day to get dirty water that you have to boil and is full of pathogens, I can't think of anything that's more important than that.
Yeah.
And then we're also building a school because a lot of the learning it's outside, it's not comfortable, it's super hot, that you need a classroom for education. So we have 2 incredible projects that we're doing, and I think that customers and patients should, I think they can feel really, really good when they buy from Illumier, because they're not only supporting their physician, they're supporting these incredible projects globally that are bringing fresh water and education to people that need it. Yeah. And nobody else is doing that.
Yeah, which is amazing. So I want to know, when you go see a practice for the first time, and you're either going to go, let's say you're going to one of your clients, right? And you're going to talk to them about consulting, and then you're actually doing that first meeting. What are some of the first few things that you notice that are common gaps that a lot of these practices have?
Yeah, first and foremost,
like really big things that we may not know.
This is the toughest one, and it's really difficult to even talk to a provider about this until they've brought you on to consult. But I think number one is just compliance. So many practices, if you, and it's not the big practices, usually it's usually smaller med spas.
Can you give us examples of what you mean by that?
Yeah, so just, not having your medical director there, or not, all these things that people don't even think about, I think is, really concerning. And I think that speaks to why when you pick a provider, you need to go to someone that really knows what they're doing, like yourself, where you're doing everything by the book, you're experienced, and you're bringing that expertise, compliance, and top-notch medical care. But you go to a lot of these practices and get a meeting with them, and like sometimes you're like, I have to get out of here. This person is not someone I want to work with. They don't care about the rules. This is off the table. I'm not working with them. Wow. So I think that's number one. And usually if it's that bad, I'm like, I'm just out. I don't I don't even want to deal with that. But beyond compliance and things like that, and actual practice of medicine and nursing, the biggest thing is people getting ripped off with equipment purchases.
Yes.
And people overpaying for their products that they buy. The overhead to run a practice is so high. Yes. There's a reason when you come get filler done, that it's several $100s for a syringe. It's not because the doctor is being greedy. It's because it really costs a huge amount of money to provide these products to people.
And if something goes wrong, just to have the right inventory to handle a complication, right? Those things cost thousands of dollars just to keep as backup.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just, touch-ups and your equipment. The overhead is just so tremendous. And this is my favorite part of practice to work on, is to get them better prices on things. This can be the difference between, you having a profitable, successful business that you're going to run for 25 years and retire with versus you're going to struggle the rest of your career.
Yeah.
It can literally all come down to just picking better products, getting better prices through negotiation, and if you're buying a piece of equipment, doing it right and not getting ripped off.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I think was challenging for me is, well, you think you're getting I thought I was getting the best price or whatever it is, but you don't realize that actually, no, you just have to ask and dig deeper, right? And just ask for a better price. And often they'll meet you with something, right?
Absolutely. And
but I had no idea. Like I was oblivious, thinking, "Oh yeah, I'm getting a great price on XYZ," and then it's like, "No, you're not." You're like, "That's really bad."
No, you're not at all.
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing that I'll see is if I go to a practice and they're like an Allergan only practice, and sorry, not sorry to throw Allergan under the bus because I completely disagree with their business philosophy. I think that they don't even put doctors second; they put them like fourth. After like all of their own interests. If I could give anyone one piece of advice, it'd be never work with Allergan. And if you do have to buy something from them, keep it like one item because you will end up spending so much money that you're going to have to work an extra like 10 years of your life just to pay for the cost of the products that you're buying. And they're not any better than the competitors. They are not any better.
So give us some tips on negotiation. How can we, for those of us listening that have our own practice or whatever it is, how can we negotiate better? What are like 3 simple things we can do?
Yeah, I think number 1 is don't be scared to negotiate. This is just like anything else. If you're buying a car, the price that they give you on the paper, if you're persistent, is not the price that you're going to pay. Keep in mind too, you have to use the products that you love, but just remember, like, never get too dedicated to one company or something, like, especially for like fillers. Like, there are so many really amazing hyaluronic acid fillers on the market. They're all really, really good. They're all great. And it's like, you got to work with the company that's going to work with you and that's going to support you and that's going to be able to give you a good price. So I guess step 1 is, don't be afraid to negotiate, and 2, don't be afraid to walk away.
Yeah.
You're not stuck with Allergan. If they're not going to give you a better price, well, tell them goodbye, because this is the free market and you're not married to them.
Yeah.
I guess that leads us to step 2 is the points and reward systems. Guys, just never be duped by them. You will never save as much money on some points or reward system than you would if you just got a better price.
But patients love the points.
Patients do love the points, but I think it's even better for you to be able to just get a better price yourself so that you can offer a better price to the patients.
That's very true. And that's what I do. And I say, you can use your points for XYZ, but you can give it back to the patient in an extra syringe or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, and that's one thing I really love about you as a provider, and a philosophy I believe in, is I really believe in passing the savings on to the patient. And I think you do an incredible job of that, of always giving the best value possible to your patients. And then some.
And then some, thank you.
You are so incredible at that.
Yeah, I think it's all about delivering the best results. And sometimes, not sometimes, often, you do need more. You need some more volume, and whether that comes through in an extra syringe of filler or whatever it is, some skincare, we all can use our glow-ups in whatever way they come, right? So I thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess the third and final tip would be, I think it's really important that you sample every product on the market, because this market is so competitive and there's so many incredible products coming out. I think it's really important that you keep an eye on what's happening, and that if there's a new filler that's approved, try it. Yeah. It might be, you might love it more than anything, and it might be an incredible price too. So I think that's really, really important, that you're not married to the products that you're using now, especially with the HA fillers, because there just keeps...
There's always going to be a new one that
getting
comes
more
out.
Competitive, and that's the best thing ever for doctors. So thanks, FDA, for for continuing to approve those, because it's really making things better for physicians and for patients.
That's true. And these newer, smaller companies that are coming out, really, that are just passing the savings on, like Regenerative, right, and Revance, that just do amazing jobs with their fillers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, that was one of the big, critical turning points in Dr. Martin and my dad's practice was when I started, we were an Allergan-only practice. I mean, we were spending...
Were you really?
Yeah, Allergan only. No other products.
Yeah, we never were.
And, but, the bills were just insane. And then we met with the Versa rep, Maroke Goldsmith, if she's listening. Maroke, if any of you listening,
we love you.
If any of you are interested in listening to this podcast and trying Versa, call Maroke. She is like the most wonderful human you will ever meet in your life, and she will take such good care of you.
Yes, yeah. Or come in and see us, and let's do some Regenerative lips.
Yes, so if you're a patient, definitely come and see Dr. V and get some Regenerative lips done. She just had them done herself, and they look amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Finally took the plunge. I was really excited to do it. Some volume really makes a difference.
Yeah, they look awesome. But yeah, so one of the big breakthroughs for me where I realized we were not doing things right is when we brought on Versa. And I remember, we tried it out. Our nurse injector, Kimber, loved it. She was like, oh my God, I love the feel. I love the look. It's great. I want to carry it. And we hadn't even talked about price yet. And, I go and ask Maroke how much it costs. And my jaw just dropped. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, we're going to save tens of thousands of dollars a year if we switch to this product.
Yeah, and it's a better product than some of the other ones. I was using Galderma products, and it was double or almost triple.
Absolutely. And
the product isn't better, and you get more volume with Regenerative.
Yes, and it's a 1.2 for Versa. It's just an unbelievable value, a beautiful product, and a great company. Oh my God,
and it doesn't swell as much. It doesn't hurt as much when you inject, so it's win-win. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the first big thing where I was like, oh my God, we could be looking at 6-figure overhead reduction if we can repeat this for other products. And we did.
Yeah.
And
then doing it for your practice, right? You're able to pass that along to other practices, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. The lessons that you learn, from doing these negotiations, from doing these deals. I still tell every practice that I go to, if they don't carry Versa, I'm like,
you're missing
why
out.
not? You're wasting thousands and thousands of dollars. And even worse, your filler prices, you could be making them more accessible to patients, and especially younger patients.
Yeah.
So I think, that's a tip number one. If you want to grow your practice, one of the very first things I would tell you to do is bring on Versa if you don't have it.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. All right. So let's talk a little bit about your favorite glow-ups. Because you've had a glow-up or two. Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have.
So tell us about your glow-up that you had.
Okay, so glow up that I had 7 syringes of Belafil in my jawline, which sounds like a lot, but it's not. It's a very moderate amount, and I actually want to get more done. I also have a large head, so it doesn't go quite so far, but yeah, I never had a good jawline at all. I didn't have really much chin projection. I've always had a beard. Because I didn't have a good jawline, and oh my God, the Belafil glow up was real. My jawline is so much better.
Yeah, jawline transformations are fun, and it does take 5 to 10 syringes to make a difference.
Yeah, I think I need to get about 4 more done.
Yeah, just a little more interior, right?
Yeah, I want a little bit more on my chin too.
And a little on your
definitely.
chin. Yeah.
And then just toxins. I use Xeomin now. And I really enjoyed that. It makes a huge difference. I have a super gnarly forehead. I really do.
Yeah, you have a really strong muscle.
It is gnarly.
You need 75 or 100 units. Most people need 30.
Yeah, so I basically have twice the forehead muscle that the average person has. 3 times, yeah.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I love Xeomin, and it's just made a huge difference. My forehead looks so much better. And I love, too, not being, overly reactive with expressions. Mm-hmm. I really enjoy having a little bit more frozen look, and I love that because I think I'm probably too expressive anyway. I get really excited sometimes when I'm talking about things, and I like having that kind of built in that you keep your cool face on with the Xeomin.
That is very true. All right, so what about, so some of our glow getters maybe want to get into skincare or get into sales. What advice would you give them? Don't do it. No, I'm kidding.
No, of course not. I think the biggest thing, biggest advice would just be, you gotta really love this. If you're just doing it for the money, I don't think that that's going to work out very well. I think that you have to really care about the practices. I think that you have to really believe in your product. Like, I couldn't imagine selling a product that I didn't like truly love and believe in. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, likewise.
I absolutely couldn't.
Likewise. Yeah.
So I think, working for a company where you really love the products, and for success too. I think the most important thing for success is being familiar with the industry before you come on. Whether that's you're an esthetician, you're a nurse, you're a practice manager, you might even just be a patient that's gotten injections or used skincare for several years, and you kind of know your stuff. I think for me, that was really one of the only reasons that I was able to be successful, is because when I went and worked for Suniva, I had already managed the biggest Bellafill practice in the tri-state for almost 2 years or something. I mean, we'd been massively successful. I'd seen hundreds of transformations personally with this amazing product, and I really believed in it, and I really loved it. And I think that being dropped into that position with that kind of experience, you can just really bring a lot to the practices, and the product well, and you're going to be a lot more successful than someone that's never seen a syringe of Bellafill done. Yeah,
that's very true. That's very true. So tell us a little bit about who you draw your inspiration from.
Oh gosh, yeah. So I guess my teachers would be like Kyle Kingsbury, Aubrey Marcus. I listen to both their podcasts. I think I've learned more from them than just about anyone. I think those guys have totally changed my life in a really positive way and gotten me through dark times and kept me inspired. And it's just like they always have the answer. Like, you're going through something and you turn on Aubrey and he's just got it. And then I think Laird Hamilton, the surfer. I really love him. He's taught me to get after things. His saying is take every wave. So I love that. Ayrton Senna, the Formula One driver, his saying is he raced to win, not to come second. And that sounds really dumb, but it's true. It's like, if you're doing something, go all the way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, don't even start.
That's true. Got to give it your all. I agree with that. So, all right. Are you just other random little questions here. Are you a morning person?
You know the answer to this. That is a hard no. I am the farthest thing from a morning person that you could ever be.
But what about people that say, like, you get up early bird gets the worm? No.
I disagree. I think our society is constructed around favoring people that wake up early, that have that genetic ability to do so. But it made me feel a lot better. I was listening to Dr. Matthew Walker, who is one of the world's foremost experts on sleep, and he was like, there are evening people and there are morning people, and your genetic clock is set before you're even born, when you're in the womb. And
is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
According to him, at least. I'm sure there's debate about it, but for me, I never have been able to fall asleep early my entire life. Even as a little kid, when we did a sleepover, I was always the last one to fall asleep. And so I've never been an early riser. And like, high school was hell because we had to wake up at 5:30, and like it like ruined my life. When I got to college and was able to actually sleep and schedule my classes later, I grew another inch at like 18 or 19 years old, and I gained 30 pounds in 1 year.
Wow. All right. So you used to do knives, right? Make knives professionally.
Oh, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Yeah, I made knives professionally for 5 or 6 years. So when
What
I
does
was
that
in,
entail?
oh, a lot of suffering. But yeah, so when I was in college, I was graduating. I'd planned to go to med school my whole life, and I was really dead set on that. And I ended up not wanting to do it at the end. I decided to go to law school, but I was like so burnt out from like studying for the MCAT and like studying for the LSAT and like all this stuff that I was like, I have to like take a year off. I can't go straight into school. So I decided to work and to make a knife company, which is really crazy. But I always loved outdoors a lot. I loved camping and hiking and doing stuff. And, you know, your knife's like the most important tool. And so I got into that. And, yeah, I started a knife manufacturing business right out of school. And it was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Why?
Oh, the amount of like physical suffering that you go through when you make knives. Like, one, you know, I had no money. I was really like not in good financial shape to be starting a business, and I had so little.
So why did you?
Because I wanted to. I just had to. I just had to do it, and yeah, but like just the physical knife making is such intense physical labor. You have to wear a respirator all day, a P100, not a mask that, you know, people are wearing for COVID. You have to wear a full face sealing P100 respirator that weighs like 2 pounds all day. The lines on your face from wearing this thing and like the difficulty that you have breathing, it's just horrible. Two, I couldn't afford to heat my shop. I didn't have enough money. So I had to work in the freezing cold for years. I mean, my shop would get so cold. I remember the day that like I made tea and I put it down and like went and worked on a knife, and I came back and it was frozen.
Oh gosh. Oh no.
It was horrible. So I worked for like 2 years of just wearing this face mask and grinding these knives. And like, I remember I couldn't feel my legs the whole day. I was so cold. I'd work for like 6 or 7 hours in the shop and my legs were just numb the whole time. And then the other thing that's really tough too is just you're always one mistake away from failure. There is no edit undo button when you make knives. So there's about 100 steps in making a knife. If you mess up one, it's over.
Wow.
There's no edit undo button. You can't fix it. And
that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it was so much pressure. So every pass you're making on the grinder, every filing that you do, every hole you drill, you're just like hanging on for dear life. That if you mess this up, well, you're not going to be able to pay your rent this month. So,
wow.
But yeah, so it was extremely, extremely physically, mentally, spiritually challenging. But I took out of that such good lessons. I mean, I can really, really proudly say my customer service was incredible. I had a lifetime warranty on all my knives. I'm out of business now. I don't make knives anymore. If you break your knife, I will still give you your money back.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
I will. And yeah, just that learning that element of customer service, of making something you're really proud of chasing perfection, designing something yourself, and just having the whole weight of everything's on your back. It's all on you, whether you succeed or not. And I think I really took a lot away from that, and it made me a much stronger person.
But does perfection actually exist?
You know, I think that it does, and that it can be perfect for you. That you can make something that you're done at the end of the day with it, and you're like, you know, I really couldn't have done that any better.
That's
that
fair.
was the perfect knife for Alex Honnold when he was climbing El Capitan. He said, my favorite takeaway from that was that I was in perfection for a little bit. He said, I couldn't have done that any better. He said, I was perfect. Thousands of grasps and footholds, and I didn't miss one.
Wow.
And yeah, so chasing perfection is like, yeah, it is actually achievable if you think about it from that perspective.
So I think there's imperfectly perfect, but I agree. Like I like that where you get to a point where you're like, I couldn't have done it any better. And that can be a definition of perfection. So I agree with that. And I think especially when doing like aesthetics or doing a glow up, if you're like, yeah, there's no more filler that needs to go in XYZ little place. Because if it does, I'm about to grab one more syringe. Yeah. So, okay. So how do you stay healthy?
Yeah, I guess the two big things that I do is I try to eat well. I try to eat like mostly meat, vegetables, and fruit, and fewer carbohydrates. I definitely eat a good amount of rice, but I usually don't like eat pizza or lots of bread or things like that. So for me, it's eating an animal-based diet. Really trying.
Which is what? And how does that differ with veganism? We've had this talk for a year now, right?
Yeah.
You've changed my mind, though. You have.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah. So let's hear it.
Yeah. So I guess for me, eating an animal-based diet, and again, diet's different for everyone. You have to, at the end of the day, do what works for you, and that's it. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work. Do something else. But for me, I'm a big believer that ancestrally, historically, meat was the number one source of calories and nutrition for most humans. Most humans were hunter-gatherers, and most of them, if you look at the nitrogen isotope testing on bones, 99% of the material in most of these skeletons comes from animal material. And these skeletons too, the hunter-gatherers were much healthier. They had better teeth, stronger bones, more robustly built. And if we look today in the world, if we look at like the Hadza people or the Maasai, people that eat mostly meat, they're all very, very healthy. They don't have cancer. They don't have chronic disease, arthritis. These people are largely free of disease their entire life. And usually when they die, it's not of old age. It's that they fell out of a tree when they were 70 because they were still so spry and healthy that they were trying to get an orange out of a tree or something, But yeah, so that like really resonated with me. And then I tried it. I used to eat tons of carbohydrates, like tons. Like I would eat oatmeal for breakfast, and I would eat like toast and pasta and everything. And I had I didn't know it at the time. I have like severe carbohydrate fatigue.
Wow.
When I eat a lot of carbs, it like ruins me. I have to go to sleep. I can't function. And when I tried this animal-based diet thing after listening to like Dr. Sean Baker and Dr. Paul Saladino and some of these guys on podcasts, I just felt so much better. I was like, oh my God, I have energy. I can eat a meal and like keep going.
Yeah.
I can work. That's is
how
awesome.
It should be.
Yeah. So I realized, at least for me, that eating a lot of carbs is a no-go, and eating a lot of meat, eating fruits, eating some vegetables, things like that, really just worked well, and I felt a lot better. And I really love too the aspect of everybody is so focused on climate on the planet these days, as we should be. I think the best kept secret in all of this is that regenerative farming, where you have cattle or you have bison and you move them around following the patterns that these animals naturally take, is carbon negative. It's incredible for the welfare of the animals. There's no fossil fuels used in the production of this meat. The animals live rich lives on the plains, eating grass and living as they should.
And how does that differ versus like what's going on now?
Yeah, so contrast that with factory farming of meat, which the animals don't have good welfare. It's really hard on the soil, and then also contrast it with large-scale monoculture of crops, which is the absolute worst thing that we can possibly do for the planet. It destroys the soil. Tilling breaks all the roots up. It causes desertification. The amount of chemical fertilizers, of pesticides, of insecticides, herbicides, poisons going into the soil disrupts the microbiome of the soil, and it just kills everything. It's the most destructive thing that we can possibly do.
And it's not even that nutritious, right?
No, absolutely not. If we look at, there's been so many studies on this. If we look at vegetables or fruits that are grown in a regenerative manner versus factory farming, the differences in the amount of nutrient content, it's not like twice as much. It can be up to 1,000 times the amount. Like they looked at kale, and it was like you'd have to eat 1,000 pieces of kale to get the nutritional content that's in a single leaf of kale that's regeneratively raised.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. There's no way you're going to eat that much kale.
Oh, well, yeah, who would want to? That would just be horrible.
Yeah, right.
And that was their life, and we're able to completely replicate that now. I mean, bison are so wild that they have to be shot in the field. There's not even a slaughterhouse for most of these bison. They live their entire life in the field, and they're harvested one at a time. And I think that that's the most beautiful, like, connected thing that we can possibly do, is to support these farms. And yeah, I would love this. It's so funny that this like comes full circle for me, because when I was little, I always loved nature so much, and I'd read all the books and everything. And I was so devastated when I was like 10 years old and I learned that there used to be 65 million bison in North America, and that there were only 500,000 now.
Wow.
And I like cried. It was so horrible. And I think like a great goal or mission would be if we can get that population back up to even like a fraction of what it was. Like if we had 20 million bison or 30 million, that would just be so incredible, and it would heal the soil and undo a lot of the damage that we've done from all of this monocrop farming in the Midwest of the United States.
What would it take to do that?
Well, we need demand for regeneratively raised bison, and that's why...
Just education and sharing.
So it's up to us at the end of the day. Everything you vote with your dollar. We create policies with what we decide to purchase, and if all of us switch to demanding regeneratively raised bison, and we buy from those farms and we send them our money, then their demand's going to go up, and they're going to have to raise more bison, and they're going to have to expand their operations. And if we can do that, eventually we might get to the goal. But if we want to be cheap, if we want to buy the cheapest meat possible and, save money for ourselves and not think about the planet or the animal, we're going to end up with where we are now.
Yeah.
Planet being destroyed, terrible welfare for the animals, and only 500,000 bison.
Yeah, so crazy. So tell us what you do for your workouts.
So I mostly do, my base is Olympic lifting. Mm-hmm. I
Which
love
is what?
it. Yeah, so Olympic lifting is two lifts. Mm-hmm. It's the snatch and the clean and jerk. The snatch is lifting the barbell from the ground to over your head in one movement. Mm-hmm. And then the clean and jerk is you clean the bar up to your shoulders. Like most people, if you ever played football, you did power cleans. So it's that, and then you lift the bar from your shoulders to overhead, and that's called the jerk. But yeah, I just love Olympic weightlifting because it's so explosive, and just getting that bar over your head, there's nothing like it. Like right before we did this show, or we're doing this show, we worked out in your amazing garage gym. Amazing, like the best gym ever.
It's decked out, for sure. Thanks to you.
So I went and crushed some clean and jerks right before this, and just that feeling that you get of getting that bar overhead and getting like one more kilogram, making that progress. So that's what I really love about it.
That's true. I'll take hip thrusters. There's nothing like a glute pump.
Yeah, I love hip thrusters as well, but it can't compare to that satisfaction of having the bar over your head.
All right, that's fair.
There's no way. Yeah.
All right. So the next part are called my 5-minute glow ups. Okay. So you have 5 minutes. What do you do for a snack?
Oh, I don't snack much. I usually eat whole meals.
You need some nutrition. What are you going to get?
I usually just don't eat.
You only have 5 minutes. You're not going to eat anything?
Well, I mean...
Is that your final answer?
Well, I eat really quick. So this is... If I have 5 minutes, I can eat a whole Chipotle bowl in 5 minutes.
Is that your answer then?
I guess. It would either be get a real meal or don't eat. I don't like to snack. Maybe a banana. We'll say a banana.
Would you actually eat the banana?
Oh, yeah. You know I eat bananas.
Okay.
You've seen me eat a banana.
All right, fine. All right, you have 5 minutes. What do you do for your skincare routine?
Well, if I only have 5 minutes, I definitely would wash my face, for sure.
What's your go-to cleanser?
Definitely SensiCalm from Illumi. I love it. It leaves me really clean, but it doesn't dry out my skin at all. I've never liked that feeling of like, you know how like shampoo like leaves your hair really dry? Mm-hmm. I never liked that shampoo like feeling on my face or my skin.
It's because it like strips oils.
Yeah, just stripped of oils. I never liked that. So definitely SensiCalm. And then if I don't have much time, it probably would be, depending on what I'm doing, I'm either going to go straight into sunscreen or use Ultimate Boost, which is really easy to put on. And
what's an Ultimate Boost?
So it's got a lot of really good stuff. It has sodium hyaluronate, niacinamide, glutathione. It's just kind of a good all-around. It's nice and light.
Yeah,
so
and it's hydrating, and it hydrates.
Yeah, very hydrating. So I like the things that are just really like quick and easy. So I think Ultimate Boost.
Me too.
Yeah, Ultimate Boost is good because it's just boom, it goes right into your skin. It's
and you're good.
Boom,
like,
just like
go.
that. And then sunscreen if I'm going to be outside because God knows I burn.
You will burn. You will definitely burn. I don't really burn, but I'll still wear my sunscreen. So, all right, you have 5 minutes. What do you do to get your heart rate up?
5 minutes to get my heart rate up. I guess it depends on where I am. If I don't have any gym equipment at all and I only have 5 minutes, I will definitely just do hollow body holds.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you have gym equipment. What do you do?
If I have gym equipment, I would do GHD sit-ups.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, GHD. You can definitely do 5 minutes nonstop.
Oh, you can burn yourself out. That's one of the only exercises that you can really like get results in 5 minutes. Like squatting, my warm-up takes like 20 minutes.
You could like hip thrust.
Yeah, but by the time you load the bar, you only have 5 minutes.
That's why you always leave the bar loaded.
True. You leave like... I think you start with 140 kg, which is 308 pounds.
Yeah, we don't have time to warm up. We just got to get to it. That's true. All right. So tell us about the upcoming training event. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so this is really exciting. So Jen Blesser, she is hosting at her practice an incredible advanced training on Radius and Xeomin. There's 8 spots available. I think that she may have 1 or 2 spots still open.
Okay, awesome.
If anybody's interested.
And she's in Newport, Kentucky.
Yes, she's in Newport, Kentucky. But yeah, so we...
Yeah, I had my lips done by 2 people, Kimber, 2 best people. Kimber, number 2 was Jen. So she is training. So yeah, anyone interested, right? We'll have it linked up in the show notes.
Yeah, definitely. And I imagine, too, it might fill up by then because it's gone really quick. But yeah, so this is something we're really excited about and really proud of. So we're doing a 1-day event. It's going to be several hours of advanced clinical training with Jen. So you're going to really learn how to use Radius and how to use Xeomin and to do the most impactful glow-ups that you possibly can. You're going to learn stuff that you can't learn anywhere else. And Jen's an absolute master with both. I mean, if you just look at her before and afters, she's doing stuff that very, very few people can do.
Yeah.
So you're going to be learning from the best. You're going to bring your own patient model and treat them. And then I'm going to speak and give a nice rundown of legal compliance and some tips for managing your business successfully. And then you're going to speak and give us a wonderful talk on skincare.
Yes, the pandemic of skincare.
The pandemic of skincare. And then we also have Jen's incredible marketing director who's going to be speaking as well and giving you lots of tips and tricks for online success with marketing.
Yes, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
Yes, and we're also doing, if you can stay, we're doing dinner afterwards, which will be really fun. And you get some goodies to take home from Illumier.
Yes. All right, awesome.
Yeah.
So, final couple questions for you. You have lived out your life fully. You've reached kind of the end and you've done everything you wanted to do. You've impacted so many practices. Consulting is just taking off and you have one gift that you get to leave for people to find. What would be your gift?
Oh, that's tough. And it's funny. I've listened to almost all your episodes of your podcast and heard everybody's answer for this, so I should have known it was coming, but I didn't even think about it.
Right?
If I could only leave one gift, I would probably leave my Eleiko barbell and some plates.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I think I would leave that because I think so much of who I am and what's built me and what's turned me into the person that I am today is just having that courage to go under the freaking bar when it's so scary. If you guys haven't seen a snatch, look up a video of a snatch. You basically are lifting the heaviest weight that you possibly can as high as you can and then diving underneath it and catching it in a full squat position where your butt's almost touching the floor. It's really scary. Every time, no matter who you are, you're holding, 200, 300 pounds over your head and diving under it and catching it. And I think that just having that courage to fully commit every time when you're so scared and it's so heavy and you go, oh God, I'm going to die. And then you say, no, you're going under that bar no matter what. It doesn't matter if it kills you. You commit. Having that courage to do that, I think, translates to every area of your life. And I don't know where I'd be if I didn't find Olympic weightlifting. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I can speak to, I do not clean, I do not lift the weights over my head.
Good, because it's really hard on your wrists, and you need nimble...
And your neck and your traps. I don't want a really big neck.
Yeah, you need nimble fingers to inject.
Yeah, exactly. But I would say I had my own transformation with weights in the last year, and just shifting from cardio to doing just straight like squats and hip thrusters and lunges. And it's like a big difference, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, even just you, anyone that knows you, that's known you for this past year, the physical transformation that you've undergone, the muscle that you've added, the strength, you look like a completely different person.
Yeah.
And, you feel better, right?
Yeah, I feel grounded, strong, everything just rebalances out in the body, and better glow up. So, yeah, I swear by it, so.
Yeah, I think, we have that saying, strong ass, strong life.
Yeah. So it's like, get away from cardio, ladies, and get to your weights, because that is what you need for your glow up.
Absolutely.
Seriously.
And not even just the glow up, for longevity.
Yes.
For bone density.
Yes. Cardio's not going to do it for you.
If you're thinking about, your longevity, the size of your thigh directly dictates how long you will live.
Oh, gosh. Thighs, we got to get you bigger. Yeah. All right, we're going to work on them. And then final question for you. What does unleash your glow mean to you?
I guess unleash the glow just means, just giving life or whatever you're doing, you're 100%. It's that seeking perfection. It's getting, doing something where at the end of the day you can say, man, I couldn't have done it any better.
Yeah, that's perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I want to acknowledge you for taking time to come on the show, and just for putting your heart and your soul into all the practices that you work with, because I've never met a person, a skincare, or just a rep who goes above and beyond in the ways that you do, and it's because you care. So just want to say thank you for being you, and get ready to glow, ladies.
Well, thank you so much for having me on the show. This is wonderful.
All right. So last thing is, where can our glow getters connect with you?
Yeah, so
whether they're interested in consulting or just wanting to know more about what they can do for, let's say consulting. Yeah,
so best thing you want to do if you want to work with us in consulting, if you're interested in starting a practice, growing your practice, email us is best. Email us at info@consultwithencompass.com, and we'll put that in the show notes.
Yep, it'll be linked up.
Yeah, you can catch me on Instagram too. It's just at HunterMartin222. I don't do anything fancy. I don't post very much, but it's still a good way to connect with people.
That's true.
But yeah, and then if you're interested in bringing on a Lumiere for your practice, you can definitely send me an email. It's probably the best way to contact me. And it's hmartin@illumierelabs.com.
Perfect. All right. Until next time, guys. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this episode of The Glow Collective, I humbly invite you to take a conscious moment to keep this vision glowing. I would love for you to subscribe, rate, and leave us an honest review. And if this podcast resonates with you, share it with 3 or 4 of your family friends, tag me on Instagram at DRVSKIN, and let me know which words and messages really hit home for you. Let's get the message growing. And why? Because I really want you to glow. Our time is now, and this podcast is only made possible because of you, because I am called to give back to you and share these ideas, thoughts, and messages with all of you, my intrigued glow-getting listeners. We are high vibrational beings here to grow and feel. We are meant to create and perceive deeper experiences of connection and to ultimately enhance the level of love and joy in our relationships of our life. So this is a wrap to today's episode. I'm your host, Dr. V. Stay tuned for the upcoming episode of the Glow Collective, and let's live, love, and glow.